Alright, welcome YouTube for another daily cast here. We have Basti and Kingdanzz together against Haviland, Tough and Cyajin. A very nice game today. For the Legion daily cast, do not forget that Friday we have the Shadow Cup starting at 18 CEST on Yog's stream. So be sure to be there, and it will be all um, it will all be on YouTube as well if you miss it. So do not worry. Sorry about the little lag here. That's normal. It's just because did I did come in a little bit late, and we will be joined by Penny, which we just joined in chat here, and we'll welcome him for the daily cast on YouTube. So welcome, Penny. Okay, sorry, the Discord is still connecting, and now, okay, he's here. So welcome, Penny, to the daily cast.
Shadow, welcome to this stream, dude, and I'm sure welcome to you on YouTube.
Yeah, let me adjust your voice here. You should be better now. Just try again.
Testing, testing.
All right, you should be at the same level as I am.
Nice, nice, nice.
All right,
So,
and
guys in chat, welcome Shadow to the cast, and we've got a pretty nice game on our hands, Shadow. What do you think?
yeah, Basti and Kingdanzz against Haviland, Tough, and Cyajin, pretty high helo. Sadly, I did miss the one for Aviator 2.8k just before that.
Oh, that was such a nice game, man. SSP and Aviator, they played it really well. I don't know if you were watching on my stream, but it was a really nice game.
I don't doubt it, but let's focus on this one. And we do have Basti with the Nightmare start. We do have a Daphne start on the side of Kingdanzz. Avalantov going for his typical Fire Archer build here,
Yeah.
with a higher Bone Warrior than I'm used to see, honestly.
Yeah, it's normally half a square lower, right?
Yes, you normally want to continue the diagonal with it,
Yeah.
but looks like he wants to put the Fire Archer a little bit up. Well, this position does mean that the middle one will take a little bit less aggro.
Yeah, absolutely. And it also makes this one quite a bit more vulnerable as well, because the other positioning is that this one doesn't pull Dragon Turtles on wave 4, for example, but like this it will.
Yeah, so we will see how it turns out. He does only receive a snail here, so this is perfectly
Yeah, he's
fine for
completely
him.
fine. And he's
Do you
really
think he goes
rewarded
8
for pushing
workers here?
6 workers there. You think he goes 8? No, I think 8 is too much. He definitely goes 7.
Yeah, definitely goes 7. He's quite strong on wave 4 with with these units. For 5, he mostly wants to have his Bone Crusher, according to his typical build. I do not think he will go for the Gate Guard here.
No. I don't think he's going to go 8, especially not because it's after income. I think maybe if it was before income, he might have been tempted.
Yeah, maybe. But Cyajin also final start here, having the Growl into an LOD here with an Angler in the back to stack it up.
And the Angler is already nearly full mana. He's going to need to upgrade that soon before it starts losing stacks.
Yeah, so the goal for him is to upgrade it on wave 5, I do believe, because it will be his tank for the LOD.
And fully stacked by then as well.
We still have some income sense onto Cyajin and Evelyn. And now, if this wasn't 8 workers before, this will be for sure 8 workers if he gets the Crusher. And looking at his goal,
he's just getting fed.
yeah. And with a skeleton build like Fire Archers, Bone Crusher, as soon as you're getting sent every single wave, you can pretty much push pretty aggressively, just because if you have a decent tank line with the Crusher on wave 5, you're still very safe. Only wave 6 and 7 becomes a problem, but you see wave 6 already covered with the Infiltrator. Now only needs to think about wave 7, and what do you see in his build currently, in his role currently, that can be good on wave 7?
I see Sand Badger, I see Banana Bunk, I see Great Boar for Danzz.
So yeah, so we do see the final Dragon Turtle here, and I do think that it will be a save now for Basti onto Evelyn Tough. And Abby will shift on wave 6, I do believe, to get the Banana Bunk on wave 7.
Probably, yeah, but then even then his damage is very low. So he's not bulletproof there, even with a bunk.
Fire Archer are quite deceiving in terms of damage if well protected. It can
They
make a
do a lot
lot
of
of
damage, but
difference.
it's the bulk of their damage is magic. So obviously, Wave 7 with its arcane armor is pretty resistant.
It is pretty resistant, but if we look at what is the percentage, it's only 3/4 of the damage. And if you're taking 3/4 of 50, you're talking about 41 damage instead of 50.
I'm going to trust Shadow on that one, guys. He's the big brain.
So even though it's pretty resistant, when the number is small, it's still very decent in the early game because the base HP of those sludges are quite low because they break up into smaller ones as well.
True, true. But even so, I mean, Basti, he doesn't have that much Mythium. He only has 80.
Yeah, and he doesn't need to shift here. He does have the growl here, so this will be a bunk no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Daphne dies.
And we will have an income sent from Avi. Kingdanzz does sit at 9 workers currently, and holding just barely does show some weakness on this wave. Uh,
Yeah, but look at this send. Double brute from Kingdanzz. He won't quite reach the third. He's only going to be able to send a lizard or a turtle instead. Saijin, he sells his growl, so he's going to be able to place a banana bunk. And Haviland does the same. Look
yeah,
at this, but I really like this positioning, by the way. He's got the fire archers, the bunk will walk in front to tank those, and then the bunk will still tank for the infiltrator, I'm sure.
yeah, only when it's boosted though. If it's not
Yep.
boosted, the infiltrator will share aggro with the banana bunk. But let's focus here on Saiyajin receiving the bigger send here on 160. The bunk, yes, pretty strong, but not against those roots. It's all about the time of the LOD has
Yeah.
during the damage to do
And
the
again,
damage.
Saijin's problem is just zero DPS.
Zero
Even having the
DPS.
bunk there, which is pretty solid on 7, it's just not going to be enough because he doesn't have any damage behind it.
Yeah, the LOD is quite tanky, but the brutes are just the perfect
Yeah.
counter to it.
He's not even
As
going to kill that brute. That's a 74% leak there from Saijin.
it's quite a
So
massive one, but we do have a hold from Abby. The
we
bunk is
do have a
still
hold from
alive.
Heavy. But that was only income. That was just a Cannoneer send there from Basti.
Yeah, and the cannoneer does. I think it went onto one of the fire archer early and then turned into the bunk.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, at least one brute is killed. Only one will reach the king at a very low status, so very minimal king damage for the long save that it was. That was
Yeah,
still a 160 cent in total, and
that was
only
quite a big
taking.
commitment from Kingdanzz as well. It was quite a big commitment. It was a double brute, 160 Mythium send, and it did get a big leak out of Saiyajin. We did see the 74%, but it didn't really result in any king damage to speak of.
So did not result into any king damage, but if we look at the worker status, we do see Cyanogen a little bit behind the worker game.
Yeah, true. So it suppressed him pretty well.
So while we did see a long save from Kingdanzz, we now see still equal gold on the board for both teams, but
Mhm.
that is with a worker lead on the side of Basti and Kingdanzz.
Yeah,
And so we
only
did
only
have the
one
income set.
worker lead though. It's not insurmountable.
Yeah, and with the resend here for income, we do see the difference being resolved. We do have Basti pushing, but Saijan should be pushing a bit more here and get
Oh,
the
he will.
Kingpin for wave 10, but it looks like he wants
Yeah,
the Kingpin for next wave here.
I think he should just push. I think he can quite easily greed another wave.
Yeah, so he's pushing more. He's going to sit at 189. So if his plan is to get for the Growl, then he's missing a little bit of gold. So maybe he will push after seeing that he has enough for the Growl and pushing another worker.
Yep.
So let's see in detail what is his plan. He's not pushing. He is at 200 gold, so that is enough for a worker and a Growl. But he's deciding for a Yuzora.
We do have a big send coming out from Mr. Basti, though. There is Triple Brute. He'll be able to send another 40 on top of that, so that's going to be a 220 Mythium send coming out. And Haviland, he's not great this wave, honestly. He's really not great.
He's preparing for 10
Fire Archer is
also.
very weak on 9. Very, very weak on 9.
Oh no, that was on wave 8. That Radiant Halo was on wave 8. So instead of going for the Orchid, a better preparation for a wave 9 and a good tank for wave 10,
Yeah,
he's going for the Radiant Halo already, showing his hands and saying, hey, send me on 9 instead of 10.
yeah, and it's going to punish him. He's going to leak pretty hard, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like
The Dark Mage Halo combo does deal a lot of damage, however, but it's just not going to be enough.
Yeah, not going to be enough, but still a smaller league than I expected. And
69% leak for
Kingdanzz.
damage there. Yeah,
Yeah, that is
but that was
the
a 220 send as well.
yeah 220 cents as well. We did have the imps to counter the possible Viots here. It was a bore in the end, but still very good against that.
Yeah. Ah, true. Okay, so Saiyajin, the reason Saiyajin stayed low workers there is because he was probably expecting he had to cover for his mate here on wave 9. In that
Yeah,
case, it's a good play for him to not to push very hard.
but then why do you go Yuzora? Like a Growl is better, and pushing one more worker does still allow you to get the Growl.
Yeah, true, true.
So he does sell one of the Bone Warrior to get the Kingpin.
There's his kingpin. There's his kingpin.
He does go for Mimic on wave 10 onto the Doppel, which is
Hmm.
questionable.
Do you think? I think if he doesn't send a tank, it can be okay. I think it can. I think it really can be okay.
Yeah,
Because obviously the Doppel's amazing, but it might just get overwhelmed when it starts getting attacked by both the boss and the Mimic at the same time.
yeah. The big problem
Let's
here
see.
is Basti not having an upper split here, meaning that the
Yeah,
Doppel will be targeted after the Butcher. Uh,
yeah,
but I think the Orchid does survive. No, okay, the Orchid tanks before, so this means it's a
yeah.
here that we will have
Oh, the
for
boss has to
Basti.
waste time on the fist. So let's see. It all comes down to this: can the Doppel out lifesteal the boss? It can. He's going to hold.
Yeah, and it does enough damage against the arcane defense type of the Mimic, and will reach
Yeah,
the Lizard.
it's
So
just a full hold
questionable
then.
send here. I must admit.
That really did not pay off for Saiyajin. He could have just saved one more wave, and Basti would have been in quite a lot of trouble on wave 11, I think.
Yeah, and
Especially because they both pressed the attack and Giant Snails on offer.
yeah,
I
and
think if Saiyajin
exactly.
had gone for like a 300 plus cent with
Sayaj,
Giant Snails,
yeah, Saiyajin didn't have to send on wave 10. He had the Yozora already. He had the Kingpin already. Maybe he pushed one more too much worker and was forced to send to get his Kingpin too on wave 10.
yeah,
So that might have been an issue. But yes, when you have a Kingpin, you do not have to send on wave 10. You can wait and go for the wave 11 send, especially when there's no defensive spell.
yeah, I really think that was a mistake from Saiyajin. I think that was a bit of a blunder.
Yeah, and it always come down to the Growl here. Like, why build a Yozora on wave 9 when you can build a Growl? And if you want to push aggressively, the Growl is always a better option. So it all comes down to the decision between the Yozora and the Growl here.
Exactly. And we do have Giant Snails taken by both Basti and Kingdanzz. When do they want to send Shadow, and why is it wave 13?
For Bastion and Kingdanzz, why they want to send 13?
Yes.
Well, first of all, the front line of Avi is only the bunk currently, but he will have possibly a King Claw. Yes, the Radiant Halo are pretty strong, but if the front line crumbles, the time available for the Radiant Halo to ramp up is not enough. So that's pretty much the explanation against Avi. But
There we go.
going here is not a bad idea either, I must admit.
No, I was about to say you were in the middle of a flow, so I didn't want to interrupt, but they could see from how long Saijin was taking to clear the wave that he's clearly very low value, which means he's pushed pretty hard, which means you probably want to send your income.
Well, he cleared slowly because his Lord of Death did die on wave 11, so he had no
Yeah.
magic damage to help him clear. Um, so that's the explanation for that.
Oh, the full send is a bit of a weird one though. I think they could have just not done a full send, just send your snails, because you don't really expect to leak two banana havens on wave 12, right?
Well, I mean, 13 is good, yes, because you do deal with the Banana Haven. But 12 is good because he has no damage except the Haven for that wave. So
Hmm.
that's the other way around, right?
Big leak on Kingdanzz, by the way.
Yeah, Kingdan's going to leak here. Despite boosting here, the board is just not enough tankiness against the Siege Ram.
87% there, that's pretty big. But yeah, I mean, both Haven players, it looks like holding. Maybe Haviland leaks very small. No, he's just going to
Yeah,
hold these
he's
guys.
gonna hold, yes.
He's going to hold. I really think that that Hermit and that Brute, like the snail send, the income send is fine, but the Hermit and the Brute just, they were never going to leak them here when they both have Banana Haven. They could have just done some king upgrades or even saved the rest of their Mythium for a bigger send later.
Yeah, that could have been another choice to go 14 to protect the double. Heavy push into a 14 cent could have been a very good play.
Oh,
But we do
let's
see
see, let's
here
see.
Basti pushing heavily, so 14 cent might still come in here.
Yeah, yeah.
He's pushing everything. Basti is pushing everything. He did not build a single thing
Is.
here.
So they're going to go all in on wave 14, it looks like.
And that might surprise Hydrogen and Heavy here a little bit. Because since the send on wave 12 was small-ish, let's say, um, then they must probably not expect it, especially with Kingpin and Haven available there.
Mhm.
But let's see, what will be the decision here? Basti is heavily under, pretty weak on 15, so wave 14 to defend themselves look pretty much like the correct choice, unless they want to race it on wave 15.
Absolutely, dude.
So Kingdanzz is also going for the Pilgrims here, a good option for wave 15, but it looks like he will be clearing, but just very slowly here, or really
Yeah.
will it?
They know, Haviland and Saijin, they can spot this. They know it's a full push from both players. So they have to expect this end on 14. They have to expect it.
That might be a pro league.
No, it's going to hold.
Uh,
Uh,
that might be a pro league.
uh,
Ah, the
Called
last it. Come on.
it! Come on, dude. Never trust a clown.
It was
Alright.
so close to a pro league, and I think the pro league would have been very, very good for them.
It would have been, it would have been. But Haviland and Saya, I'm honestly surprised they didn't send income here. They have to know. They
They
have to
have to
know
know
that Basti and Kingdanzz pushed hard on the last wave.
that there
They could
is no
see that both
damage.
of them cleared very slow down to their last unit, nearly pro leaking on Dans. Like, if that's not a big red flag saying we're sending you next wave, I don't know what is.
They just have faith in their build that they're gonna hold. And look, yes, you have the front line for heavy, but you have
They're
no
both
damage
really heavily
behind.
undervalued. Both way undervalued, like nearly 400 under each.
Yeah, and
They didn't even do king upgrades here.
yeah, they did do two king spell each. But
Okay.
yeah, the problem is that they did not have any damage, but they do rely on their front line to give time for the Arc of Justice to do damage. But now the Arc of Justice is getting focused on Abby, and it's gonna
It's
leak
going to
now.
be a pretty big leak.
On the side of
60% there,
Saya,
Haviland.
though,
Oh,
we do have a hold.
this is a hold. That's really nice. Really nice.
So I mean the
Or is it? Is it a hold?
I mean it's very close. If it's not right,
I think he leaks one.
yeah, he's gonna leak one, but that is a long wave, and it is not lethal. And you had Basti full pushing and Kingdanzz also preparing for 14 with the red eye. So this game is pretty much decided on the on next wave, possibly with Kraken or Shaman Sent.
Yeah, it's going to be a massive send. A massive, massive send.
I do think that on Kingdanzz the Kraken does mean a lot. The Ram does a similar job, so that's a good spot for Avi. Does allow you to go for a Hermit to back it up or a ranged DPS if he wants to. He will go for either a Witch or a 4-Eye according to what I see right now. It will be a 4-Eye for Avi. Meanwhile, Sajin going for the Shaman onto the Doppels. You know that the Doppels have a
Pretty
very
solid.
low chance of killing the boss, and so ensuring a Shaman with two bosses on the king does lead to a lot of king damage.
Yeah. They are fully upgrading the king, though, so they sent their snails for income, they maxed the king spell, they already had full attack, so the leak needs to be massive for
And
it to
look
be
at this.
lethal.
This is the Kingdanzz strat here. This
Yeah,
is
just
perfect
spamming
against a
those
4-Eye.
buttons.
This is perfect against a 4-Eye.
Yeah, the 4 eyes just does nothing. like literally nothing. It never gets to ramp up because all of its targets are 250 HP Peewees.
Look at those Pee-wees just falling one by one, but it's just tanking all the damage
Wasting
from the
so much time.
440 damage of the boss and the ramping
Yeah.
damage of the.
Basti though, 125% leak, like nearly full HP boss, plus Shaman, plus Four Eyes, plus a couple of small creeps, and Kingdanzz, even with his really nice strategy there of using Peewees to tank damage, he's still leaking.
He's still leaking. The Shaman will buff the Four
Heavy
Eyes
leaks
as well as the
first.
bosses.
Saiyajin will hold, but only just. Only just.
Yeah, I mean, both teams did push quite heavily. Basti and Kingdanzz
Yeah.
deciding for 14. That is the risk you
This won't kill
encounter.
them, right? They're going to survive this.
It is a lot of King spell, a lot of King attack as well. The Four Eyes are going down now, but there's still one remaining. But no,
Yeah.
they will not die here. They will survive at 22% King HP.
22%. So pretty good damage there from Haviland and Saiyajin. But Bastion and Kingdanzz, they're still in this game. They have
There,
a chance.
there is one great advantage here on Kingdanzz and Basti is that Kingdanzz is a monster on 17, while you do have Basti being a monster on 18. But we
True,
do
true,
see
true.
Basti pushing heavily here, and
Oh,
possibly
they're going to
hinting
go for a
towards a 17
17.
cent.
But really? Really 17 send? We've got double Haven here on Haviland. We've got Havens here as well.
Yes,
Saiyajin will
but
have two of those for
remember,
next
you
wave.
need to remember always that the bunks are very good tanks on 17, but when you do not have
Yeah.
the damage behind it, it's very hard. And since those are Arc of Justice, and you do not have other damage than that, spamming those Giant Snails, spamming those DTs are the better
Yeah,
send
that's
here.
it's really solid. Yeah, you're right. Although there is dark mages. There's two dark mages, so both of the halos have a dark mage to steroid its DPS.
Yeah, but on what
Pretty
do they
solid.
ramp up? On what do they ramp up? That's the question.
I mean, the snails, they're still going to die pretty quickly, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying they won't die quickly. It's still a delay for the wave that does massive damage onto the Haven. And we do see the 4-eye coming in, the mole here. Love the mole addition here to slow down even more the ramp up
Oh,
damage.
Haviland and Sire, they do save. They do save. That might come back to bite them here.
It might come back to bite them, but it is the probably the correct choice to probably win because if they are forced to send on 17 here, you face the boars, right?
Yeah, there's
And
no
then you're
way.
stuck at
Sending
not
doesn't win
sending
here.
18 because you already spent all your Mythium on 17 Sen,
Yeah,
but then you have
I think
19, which
everything
is not
comes down
better.
to this.
Yeah,
If they hold this, they win. And if they leak heavily, obviously they lose. So Bastion Kingdanzz, they're pretty much all in on this send now on wave 17. They need to get lethal here. If they don't get lethal, then the game goes to Saijin and Haviland.
yeah, exactly. So that's why we did see a heavy push from
Yeah.
Basti on 16, knowing he was weak on 17, but that King Dance
He's a
was really
very
strong.
big send. He's a very big send. 600 Mythium, 500 Mythium, full giant snails, auras, four eyes, a lot. It's going to
And
be a tall order for them to hold.
the Havens are down on Avi right now. There's very
Yeah.
few of the Metal Dragons left, but there are still
Yeah, but there's still a
5.
full HP Kingpin here with Dark Mage buffing the DPS. I think he just holds.
The Kingpin's going down. You will have
Haviland does
also
not
the
hold at
Thanatos
an
going down,
82% leak.
and also the
Yeah.
Hades going down. This will be a
He's going to
very
get one
small
more
leak.
dragon.
This would be a very
Or
small
he
leak here.
doesn't. He doesn't get the dragon out there.
42%. There's still a total of
So they
6
will
Metal
survive
Dragons,
this. They
2
will survive
4
this, for
eyes.
sure.
Will they though?
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
is
They survive.
immolation though. You need to
They
realize
survive
it's
this.
immolation. There is a hermit. There are 2 4 eyes. It takes a long time to take down a 4 eye. It takes 2 hits.
Yeah,
And no, they
easy,
will
easy
survive.
live, easy live. And here comes the counterattack. Here it comes, wave 18, Dan's Basti, neither looking great here. Okay, Basti's got a nice roll for it, but his value isn't there.
The Kraken.
And
The Kraken
Kingdan's,
is coming.
he's really not that good here. And the Sens are huge. That's Kraken DT, that's Centaur Shaman.
The Badger just to buy more time here for the doppels. The
Yeah.
boosting here coming in to try and kill some of the Whale Chieftains before
Oh,
reaching anything. He does have a nice
Kingdan's is
split
selling
here.
you. He's full pushing. Kingdan's is full pushing for a resend here.
Yeah, the one who's holding the longest here is Basti with his magic damage and also his
Yeah.
doppels. They bank into the fact that Havi and Cyajin did overpush here. They know they invested a lot into the fortified armors here. There are still two halos here on Heavy, but let's look on the big send on Basti. He is the deciding factor here. It is a hate 40 send. We do see two doppels still alive here. It's all about the doppels here. If the doppels are alive and there's only one or two units left, you will see him holding. There's one double going down.
Haviland, he's just fully holding the resend.
The other is getting targeted, and we do see
Oh,
a
this
leak
is
from
it.
Basti.
This is game.
Cyajin does
105%
leak,
there
but
on
we do
Basti.
have a
Kingdanzz
hold
obviously
on it.
leaked the entire wave. This is it. This is game over.
This is game over. We do have a hold from Heavy here. The
That's
Arc of Justice
clutch.
being too much here to handle.
Absolutely clutch. So, GG, well played Haviland Tough, well played Saiyajin. They take the game here on wave 18. Pretty fun game.
Yeah, back and forth, and correct decision by Heavy and Saya on wave 17 to not send, not falling for the bait, and trusting in their builds here to buy enough time.
Yeah.
Uh, but we must say it was pretty close. I do think that the mistake here from Kingdanzz and Basti is you pointed it out, adding the brute and the hermit on wave 12. Going income
Yeah, they could
was
have just
fine.
done the king upgrade there.
Yeah.
They could have just done the king upgrades. It would have served them much better for the rest of the game, I think.
Another thing they could have done, it's a little bit more risky, of course, but it's having faith into the lifesteal doppel of Basti.
Yeah,
Um,
true, true, true. And just
because
save
they
your
don't
Mythium.
take any king damage here. And even though you leak here, even though King Dance leak here, let's say he leaks, you know that the doppel is perfectly fine here. Uh, there's very little thing that can leak him. Only a 4 I think can leak that. And then if you have faith in Bastisen and you don't, then your 14th threat becomes way harder, and then you don't get the
Yeah,
descent here
yeah,
on
yeah,
15.
yeah. So maybe they could have just won the game on 14 if they just had a little bit more faith in the doppelganger.
Yeah, and that is always the hard part of playing doppel. Is just realizing that okay, I need to take a risk. I know on 15 I'm pretty weak. I invested a lot of my value onto that. That's all the value of Basti onto that combo, right? That
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have the Overbreaker, yes, that's probably 200 of the value. You have 280 on the Orchid, but then the rest is only double and HS. So there's very little you can do to hold 15. And so
yeah.
banking on the 14 league on everybody is probably the way to go.
Well, at the very least, you could split the difference as well. Like I think it's fine taking the income there because they knew a big send was coming on 12, but then just don't send the hermit or the brute post income. So you save your 80, you save your 60, and then you've got that much more to send on 14 because they already got leaks on 14. So if Basti had another 80 Mythium there, if Dan's had another 60 Mythium there, maybe they get a lot more done, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I mean, it's always difficult to call,
It,
of
it
course, when
could
you're in the
easily have
game.
been the difference maker. Like an extra 80 Mythium doesn't sound huge, but if it's the difference between like a big mercenary and a small mercenary, like if it's a four eyes instead of a pack leader or something like that, it can make all the difference.
And I do think that giant snails are pretty good. Don't get me wrong on that, but I do believe that putting eight of them out there is not always the best decision. On Avi, it is the best decision because you do have the halos there. You
Yeah,
want
you're
to
wasting
delay
all
them.
the time from his halos. Yeah, yeah,
But on Saya, you can add one or two giant snails. It does increase a lot onto your sense, but not going for a four eye here might be questionable.
yeah. Agreed, agreed. Anyway, guys, in stream, I need to end the stream here. I said it was going to be a short one, and it's actually been a lot longer than I expected. But yeah, we've had a really nice couple of casts today. Shadow, thank you for joining me on that one. That was a lot of fun, dude.
Yeah, and thank you for
Uh,
joining. I'm gonna close out the YouTube video as well, so thank you for joining us, and see you next time, YouTube.
Bye, YouTube.